So Secret World Wildlife Rescue is a rescue centre dedicated to the rescue, rehabilitation and release of sick, injured and orphaned British wildlife. So we take in over 5,000 animals every year and they may be orphaned baby birds, they may be injured swans, they may be badgers who have been caught in traps, or any animal who is in trouble and needs our help. Will be brought here and we will do our very best to rehabilitate that animal and get it back into the wild where they belong. That's our ultimate mission, to get animals back into the wild where they belong. The other really important part of what we do here is to inspire and educate and engage people so that they too are inspired to go and look after wildlife where they live. We have a learning programme, so we invite schools on site and we work with schools to get kids learning about nature and finding out what they can do, and it's great. They love the experience of working with nature. I've been working at Secret World for about a year now, which is interesting because I feel like I've seen an annual cycle now. There's still a lot to learn. Different things happen every day. In fact, there's something new happening every day, and there's always new animals that I haven't seen before that come in that I want to find out more about. We can give the finder advice on what to do, to put it in perhaps in a box with some warmth, and then bring it into us. Then great, and they can bring it into us. If they're not able to bring it in to us, then we will organise for one of our response drivers to go out and rescue that animal. So we have a team of fantastic volunteer response drivers across the region who are ready to go out and respond to animals, and they will be trained in different levels as well. So we would never suggest that a member of the public goes and picks up a bird of prey or a badger or a fox or a deer or an animal who could potentially cause them harm. We have trained response drivers who are able to go out and rescue those animals with the right equipment, like thick gloves, and avoid getting kicked or whatever. And it's also, obviously the animal welfare is the top priority, so we need people who know what's going to be best for that animal. How to deal with an animal when it's found on the side of the road, for example. You do need some experience in dealing with that. So that's how they're rescued, and then they'll be brought in here to us. They'll be assessed, any treatment that's needed will be given, and something like a badger will be released using something called a soft release process, where a release site will be identified, working very closely with the landowner, the owner of that land. So we'll find a release site, we'll set up a temporary enclosure on that release site, possibly with the badger we'd build an artificial set for them to move into, and the enclosure would be set up, the badgers would be introduced to that enclosure, they'd spend a couple of weeks getting used to their surroundings. The enclosure would then be opened, so they'd be free to go as they pleased, but we'd make sure that they were kept, that there was food and shelter there to support them while they make that transition. So it's a slow transition getting them back to the wild, and it's a very involved process, which is why we're so reliant on on funds, because there is a lot that goes into it. Finding the release sites, constructing these places, caring for them, feeding them. So there's lots of great things about working at Secret World. I love wildlife, and working around animals all day is fantastic. The people are just as important here, actually. And there's a fantastic team here, people who are so passionate and dedicated to helping the tiniest of animals, tiny baby birds, tiny orphaned hedgehogs. Nothing is too small or too insignificant to help, and that's a really inspiring thing about working at Secret World. Is the passion and dedication of the people, particularly volunteers. We have hundreds of volunteers who come and help out because they love being here and helping the wildlife. So that's a really great part of working here. And when we have events and visitors are able to come on site and see what we do and meet the animals that we work with, and I know that particularly the children, but people of all ages as well, will never forget those experiences, and they'll take them away with them. You know, similarly to the experiences that I remember having when I was younger that I haven't forgotten, you know, encounters with wildlife, and being able to give people the opportunity to have those encounters with wildlife. I think that's a really great part about working here, because yeah, it makes you realise that there's a bigger message to be spread, and you know, we can reach out further than we can just on the site. So yeah, but there are many great things about working here.